Filmed with a thermal camera, the warm blood flowing to the erectile tissues is revealed as it raises the temperature, which in turn causes the change in color. What is about to happen takes only a few minutes, but it's an incredibly complex biological process. The spermatozoa are waiting in the epididymis. First, the Cooper's gland goes into action, closely followed by the prostate gland. Together, these two glands expel great quantities of secretion, which will mix with the sperm. A fraction of a second later, the sperm armada leaves the epididymides. It reaches the seminal vesicles, which provide a sugar solution. Now the semen is completely blended, and from here it continues on its way out through the penis. Now, for the first time, we can follow this process from inside the human body. We're in the epididymis, where thousands of sperm are waiting. All of the details must function perfectly. What this hinges upon more than anything else is that those glandular systems work at exactly the right instant. The camera is now making a remarkable journey. It's traveling the same route as a sperm, on its way towards and out of the penis. Just now it's passing through the vas deferens. The sperm are approaching one of the seminal vesicles. Before their secretion can be mixed in with the sperms, a small hatch opens up in the seminal vesicle through a lightning-quick nerve reflex. The final mixture of sperms with the various glandular secretions takes place. The sperms themselves make up less than 1/2 of 1% of the semen's total volume. Finally, in only a few seconds, the sperms rush into the urethra and at the moment of ejaculation enter into the vagina. The male's part in the process of reproduction is now over. From here, the sperms will enter the womb and move up into the fallopian tubes where the ovum is waiting. After fertilization, the ovum will begin its journey towards the womb. It takes at least 4 days. There it'll attach itself firmly to the wall. For the sperm, this journey begins with a problem. Paradoxically, they've been delivered to a place that for them is lethal. The spermatozoa are extremely sensitive to acidic environments, and those are exactly the conditions inside the female's vagina. The acidity is to protect the female against germs, but it's harmful to the sperms. In order for the sperm to survive, a remarkable defense system comes into play during the first 20 minutes after intercourse. The seminal fluid thickens or coagulates to provide protection before they begin their long journey towards the ovum waiting in the fallopian tube. It's a journey that in reality is only a few centimeters, but it is actually equivalent to a 6-kilometer swim for a human being. After the coagulation process is completed, Remarkably enough, the seminal fluid suddenly becomes very liquid again, and the sperms quickly become mobile. The activity is enormous. This is the actual sound made by 7,000 sperms, recorded by aiming a laser beam at them. Disturbances in the laser beam caused by the sperm's movements are registered and then converted into sound through a wave analyzer. When the sperms have regained their mobility, they attempt to get away from the lethal acidic environment of the vagina as quickly as they can. But huge numbers of sperms never make it. 1/4 of them will die here within an hour. That is, 100 million sperms will be killed almost immediately. In addition to these tremendous losses, must be added those millions of defective sperms which also never make it. And as well, those sperms that are quite simply eaten up by the female's defense system. Here, one of these defense cells is attacking the tail of a sperm. And here, the entire sperm head has been devoured by the defense cell. This happens because the sperms are cells from another organism, and the female's defense system therefore regards them as enemies. The sperms are not intelligent, target-seeking robots. They head for the first egg-like object they find, in this case, some ordinary body cells in the vagina. Normal sperms always try to swim against the stream and towards less acidic environments. And this means that they rush towards the opening to the uterus. There they come up against an ingenious screening device which both sorts out the defective sperms and helps in the healthy ones. It begins to operate in the cervix, or the neck of the womb. Here there are clearly defined grooves or channels through which the sperms move. The walls of these channels have been built up with molecules from the cervical canal's glandular secretions. Every month, when an ovum is released, 400 of these molecular strips are formed in the cervical canal. The acidic level in these strips is finely balanced, so that only healthy sperms can pass on their way through the womb towards the fallopian tubes. Each channel is approximately 3 centimeters long and only a few hundredths of a millimeter thick. Of those that get through, it's now known that they actually swim as a team. It's believed that all of the spermatozoa in a group, extraordinarily enough, help each other out by means of an intercommunication system. Their nearest goal is the gland responsible for creating these channels. When the sperms arrive here, some of them cease movement as if resting. They can stay here for as long as a couple of days. After this temporary stop, they continue their swim. After as little as 24 hours, a small fraction of the sperms that began the journey may have reached halfway up inside the womb. Deep in the dark recesses of the womb are 2 bright areas, the openings to the fallopian tubes. In one of these, the ovum is waiting. sperms have now entered one of the fallopian tubes. The interior of the tube is covered with millions of swaying cilia. These movements create a slight countercurrent against which the sperms must struggle. Here, at the upper edge of the picture, one single sperm has stopped beside one of the fallopian tube tunnel's vast number of swaying reed clusters. But it's a temporary halt. Soon it continues on its way again. It's thought that the sperm stop like this to replenish their energy as part of a maturing process before meeting the egg. Those sperms that make it all the way inside the fallopian tubes may live there for a long time. And it's during their journey here that their ability to fertilize becomes activated. When they were delivered to the female, they had not reached their full capacity. Now the sperms are capacitated, that is, can now penetrate the waiting ovum. Of the millions of sperms that began the long journey from the male's testes, only several hundred finally reached the ovum, in a remarkable meeting far up inside the narrow fallopian tube tunnel. It's an encounter between the human body's largest cell and a whole swarm of its tiniest cells. The sperms begin working immediately on the ovum's outer surface. They butt at it and brush their tails against it, and finally, one of those fascinating and hard-to-explain biological phenomena occurs. The ovum begins to roll slowly around like a planet out in space. The remarkable thing is that all ova always roll in the same direction, counterclockwise. Again, we don't know why this should be. It's been suggested it could have something to do with the rotation of the Earth, or perhaps be caused by the movements of the sperm's tails. Eventually, one single sperm brushes against the ovum's cell membrane and enters the egg. This is the moment of conception.